You know, when I saw this film not too long ago, I was saddened. I wasn't angry. Just because the simple fact is, Home Alone 4, taking back the house didn't anger me. It disappointed me. More so from the studio side than just the movie itself, because they took a surprise mega blockbuster. Which I say surprise because let's be honest, no one, and I say this again, I said it with Home Alone 3, I'm gonna say it again with this movie. No one expected this film to take off the way it did. It came out at the right year, at the right time, with the right audience. Uh, it lasted almost all the way to the summer of next year. The film came out in November. This was released. This finally started slowing down in April. This film made a ton of money, and because of this, they decided to make a franchise out of it. Because as you all know, it made money, and they figured this would be a tool for more money. Second film pretty much didn't do as well as they expected, but it still was profitable. They still made a lot of money out of this movie, and that pretty much kept alive the idea of Home Alone 3. It finally came out, but it didn't do well at all in the box office. The ratings for this film is pretty mixed, depending on who you talk to, and why they liked it, why they didn't like it. But overall, that should have been the sign to say, okay, we have run this course. We completed the trilogy, because let's be honest, they should have been made as a trilogy, and let it go. A few years later, there was advertisements for Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. Kevin is back, and when I heard this in a pizzeria, because I actually remember hearing this in a pizzeria, I was stunned they actually did a fourth Home Alone, and then I was really upset when I found out that it was a made-for-TV. And the reason why I say it was why I was upset that they made it as a made-for-TV, because I knew that the quality of that movie will be pretty much downgraded to almost nothing. And that's exactly what Home Alone 4 was. It was pretty much downgraded to a cheesy, cheap, sanitized family film, um, to the point where even the traps was pretty much almost non-existent. And that's the whole thing. The traps that made the Home Alone franchise, from even the third one, the third one was underwhelming. The fourth one was just terrible. For the simple fact that he barely made any effort to make any traps. There was no effort at all. He made a few traps that we've easily seen before in the first films and even the second film, but they were just so underwhelming. It's like we've seen this already. It's not even funny anymore. To the point where the mansion, which he was living with his father and his father's girlfriend, was just simply just really, this is how far we gone. He's not even making an effort. And that was the whole gimmick of Home Alone 4. The whole gimmick was he has this mansion with all these gadgets and at his disposal, and that was not true. He didn't really have all these disposals. He had a good shower scene. He controlled the remote control with Open Sesame, because there was a bar that was hidden underneath another drawer, I believe. And all he had to do is say "Open Sesame," and it turns it up. He used it as one of the traps, and it was just pretty much a lame trap because, to be honest with you, it was so unbelievable, so out there. These actors have tested the law of gravity so many times, and to the point where they shouldn't be testing the law of gravity. And that was the whole thing about this whole film, is that the trap was just so underwhelming. Um, Another thing about this movie is that really hurt the film is, surprisingly, this was the main thing that hurt the film more than anything else, was the fact that they screwed up the timeline. They screwed up the timeline so bad that it makes you wonder that the people who was in charge of making that movie actually knew the characters note from note, actually knew the events that happened, actually knew how to dress each character. The villain, Marv, was playing Harry in this movie, and there's no mistake. If you look at his character, he's wearing this iconic hat that you expect Marv to wear. I'm sorry, Harry to wear. And they explain that Harry is not into this film, and his wife is pretty much taking his place. He's pretty much now the brains of of the operation, and I'll get to that in a second. But apparently, Marv got married between films, and Marv's wife, his name is Vera, is now pretty much a useless character and is helping him uh, pull off another scheme, and the scheme is kidnapping. So they're not robbing, they're not going to this house to rob the house. They're not looking for jewelry or any valuable. They're here to kidnap someone. And who they want to kidnap is the royal family's youngest son. Why? I honestly don't know. Maybe it is for ransom or anything else. That's pretty much the only explanation, but it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. Surprisingly enough, as crazy as it may seem, the first two films of Home Alone, their motivation, as dumb as that was, and how dumb they got caught, because they were dumb criminals. At least you understand that they are just doing it to rob things. They want to rob the charity box. They want to rob people's homes, and you know that was outlandish. But at least you know they're robbing something. It's not that far fetched. They're robbing something. This one is just plain. If this works, I'll be pleasantly surprised. And by the way, if you do plan to kidnap someone, you're never going to get out of prison again. But here's the thing: they never came even close. The kid who was supposed to be English, it didn't sound nothing like him, came at the end of the film when they already got caught and sent to jail. So that whole entire plot was just plainly useless. And naming this movie Home Alone is useless because, although with the exception of a few scenes where he's actually going toe to toe with Marv, his wife, and the mole, which turns out to be Marv's mother, he's not really alone in this house. He's not been alone in this house, not barely like one time, and even that he's not really alone. I mean, there is someone in the house. The object of Home Alone is being alone with no supervision whatsoever. And the fact that he is supposed to be home alone, even though he's not home alone, doesn't make it home alone. And add that with the fact that they are totally butchered. They totally erased the two main characters, or supporting characters, and that was Kevin's other sisters. He has, keep in mind, he has two brothers and two sisters. He has Megan, he has Buzz, he has, I believe, the other one is Lenny, which is his other sister, and Jeff. So those are his family members. Those are his siblings. In this movie, he's only have two. And here's another thing about this that really, it really drove people insane, and I can see why. Kevin was 8 years old in the first film, 9 years old movie time in the second film. If the events took place on 1 year apart from each other. The film came out 2 years apart from each other, but the events leading to Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, was only 1 year apart. So that means Kevin should be 9 years old. He should be 9 years old, and pretty much in this film, since it's a continuation, and when I mean continuation is they acknowledge the first two films. They acknowledge the events that happened. They acknowledge that these characters exist and they knew each other. Kevin should be no more. If you want to go 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, he should be no more than 10, 11, or 12 years old, depending on the actual year that's set. Kevin in this movie is 6, no younger than 7 years old, and Buzz, who is the oldest of all the brothers, is, I believe, 8, 9. He's definitely not in his late teens or his mid-teens in this movie. And Buzz was in his mid to late teens in the Home Alone movies. There's no question about that. All you need to do is look up the first two films and look up this Buzz. They're not alike, especially Megan. Megan is a lot older in that film. She's pretty much also in her pretty much in her preteens, and she's just barely touching 10 in this movie. And I'm like, wow, how do you mess that up? If it was one thing, you can get away with it pretty much if this was a prequel. But even with that being said, what the prequel is, all of Kevin's siblings, there's not one that is younger than him. All his siblings are older than him. He's the youngest of the bunch. So there should be no reason why that should happen. What happened to these kids? Did they not realize there were others? And look, you can make an excuse of the cousins. He does have a lot of cousins. You can make that exception about that. That's fine. I can understand that. They're not, they're pretty much almost a non-factor, to be honest with you. But the fact is that you messed this whole timeline up, and the fact that you actually made him younger, really, it's like they scratching their head and saying, is this part of the Home Alone franchise, or is this a totally different Home Alone series altogether? Did they even reboot the franchise in many ways? Well, obviously they didn't reboot it because they mentioned the other Home Alone movies, with the exception of 3, of course, and 3 was pretty much a standalone movie. So that hurt the film. The story, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good story at all. There was some things I liked, and there were some things I think people have. I think that the people who was behind this film want us to feel, but I actually felt differently. The one thing I will tell you about is Natalie. Natalie is the supposed girlfriend of Peter in this movie, and what's it about her is that they try to portray her as someone who doesn't like Kevin, or just doesn't understand how things are with him, and how he is used to celebrating Christmas. And I gotta agree with one thing. I think that what she did with the Christmas tree was kind of messed up, because it was the one scene that I actually did like. It actually brought back some very good memories. It was when him and his father was decorating the Christmas tree. It was kind of cool. Didn't like the music, but what the hell? This is a made for TV movie. I'm not expecting a great soundtrack to the Home Alone this Home Alone film, at least. But the overall scene with him and his father decorating the Christmas tree, I actually liked that scene. I actually thought that was actually one of the best scenes in the entire film, because for anything else, it does bring back good memories. You don't have to really actually try to nitpick on something like this. It just go back in your own childhood or with your own kid, and you say, this is actually what I remember when I did this with my little one. It was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed that scene, and they made it. She eventually had people redecorate the Christmas tree. That's how she does things. And that really leads me to the whole thing. She's portrayed, which by the way was played by Jonna Going. Very weird name, but she was portrayed as this woman who is out of touch, or in many cases just don't understand how things are. She's always rich. She's always had luxury, but she doesn't really have that Christmas sense spirit, and that's largely because she doesn't have children of her own, and she doesn't really connect well with Kevin. She tries. She tries. I mean, she does try a lot in this movie, but she really just don't have that connection. And with the stuff that's happening with the thieves mysteriously going into the house, because there's a mow in the house and they just got in through the security, and Kevin is forced to defend the house by activating the showers to a high proportion where it explodes, leading a whole bunch of water coming down the whole steps, to basically using the old-fashioned traps we pretty much recognized from one, causing damage to the house, that she became kind of cold with Kevin. But that's understandable. Your house is being totaled. I mean, come on. And the fact that the butler, who by the way knew this was, I can't say knew, did not do his job, because it was explained that the reason why he didn't catch any of this is because he kept falling asleep on the job and not keeping on the cameras, which really annoyed the hell out of me. I'm like, wait a minute, you just basically admitted that you didn't do your job, but she lied and said he didn't see anything to protect himself, which led Kevin to believe that he was part of. He was the inside man. Now, of course, he's not the inside man, and pretty much predictable story ensues. If you follow the Home Alone franchise, he became nice and good friends now with some few speeches that really make no sense, but whatever. I'm like this. If that was me in that situation, I would curse him out and basically say, you basically put all of us in danger because now they guys can get away, they can kidnap somebody all because you want to keep your job. So I have no feelings for that guy. But back to the lady, this was the thing she was dealing with. So when she had that cold feeling towards Kevin, I didn't felt that it was unjust only because she did not know what was going on, and they made it sound like she got what he deserved in the end. I kind of felt that was not cool. I didn't like that scene at all. I didn't like the ending scene at all. And I understand they changed the ending scene. Originally, they actually written it so that way the father would not get back with the mother. I don't know if that was an executive decision. No, in fact, I actually remember it now. This is something that I got to bring up. And I might as well bring it up now because I think that's what was the reason why they changed it. I'm pretty sure of it now. This movie had a reason to exist. As crazy as this may sound, guys, this movie had a purpose. It had a reason. It had a plan. It was not a great plan. And after the bashing from both critics and people who have watched this on television and former stars of the original movie, they scrapped that plan immediately. And that was Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House was supposed to be the pilot for Home Alone the series. They was going to make this a TV series that was exclusively on the Fox Family Channel. As you know, that didn't work because we didn't have them have series. And as crazy you guys might be saying, oh, this is nuts, keep in mind, this is not the first time a movie made a transition to TV, nor did they made a transition to TV series. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is also known as the Honey I trilogy. And I say Honey I trilogy because Honey I is actually the main title of the whole entire series. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. Those are the three films which led to two of them being in theaters, one of them being direct-to-video, and that eventually sparked Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the series, which was aired for pretty much 2 seasons before finally getting canceled. We also had The Parenthood, the original one after the Steve Martin's film that was pretty much an excellent film. Terrible TV series. They made 2 attempts. The newest one with the guy who's played Coach in his TV series actually is a very, very good TV series. It's on its 3rd season now. And if you guys have a chance, you should check it out. It's actually pretty good. It's not disappointing at all. This is the series that actually got it right. But in terms of Home Alone, it's not shocking they wanted to try and do this. And that was the only reason why this film came in. They wanted to really push to put the TV series. And I think that having Kevin's father divorce his mother and going with this girl, I don't think that would vote well too much with a lot of the fans. Mind you, they should have paid more attention to the continuities of the family's siblings as well as the age and the timeline. But that's just something I guess they just got to do while making the script. In all, this is why Home Alone 4 existed. It existed for the sole purpose of promoting a TV series. And only a TV series. And it didn't work. And for a while, this was considered the last Home Alone movie until the 5th one just came out. And I didn't see any reviews of it yet. So far, it's been a few days now since Home Alone Holiday Heist or Home Alone Alone in the Dark, depending on what region you're in, have came out. And so far, now the critics or TV people who watch the TV series or the overall view of who many people watch this Home Alone have finally came out. So, and the only reason why that is, again, is because Fox Family was bought out and is now ABC Family. So there's 2 different companies, and I guess they want to revitalize the Home Alone franchise for a made-for-TV series. Like I said, it is definitely the lowest of all the Home Alone series, lower than 3. At least 3, there was some effort into trying to make things different, and here it was just lazy writing, um, lazy storytelling. The CGI and the gadgets was just horribly bad. You thought 3 was bad, 4 is just plain worse. And unfortunately, that really killed the film. There was no salvation. Now, I say there was a few scenes I actually like. I actually liked Natalie's character. I didn't think she was a bad character at all. I think that honestly, they tried to make her into something I don't think that she shouldn't deserve to have. Her reaction towards what was going on is quite justified in my opinion. But overall, I actually liked that character, and I actually liked that actress. And I'm a little bit surprised they didn't have her play the mother. She would have actually played it pretty good. I was a little surprised. Not to say that the other one, that the new actress they had to play Kevin's mom was terrible. She was fine. I didn't have a problem with her in terms of what she was. Her name was Carrie, I believe. She played Kate in this one. She wasn't terrible, but I thought that Going was a much better actress than she was, and I think she would have probably made a better mom if they reversed roles. Didn't like the ending at all. Thought that was a cheesy cop out what they did. I would pretty much prefer they wasn't together. But again, this probably was an executive decision to change the ending. I know there's 2 endings out there. I don't know if it's in the DVD or not, but I do know that they did change that ending. Also, uh, it's just the music was not even something you never. When you hear the music, you don't connect at all with this whole entire franchise. Nothing reeks the music. Nothing reeks with the soundtrack or the score mass that says yeah, this is Home Alone. First one, second one, you know that's Home Alone. Even the third one with a different composer felt like Home Alone still. The music felt like you're watching a Home Alone film, not this one. Now, there were some good things. I thought some of the acting was not bad. I thought that the woman, Joanna Going was pretty good. I actually thought she was good. The kid who played Kevin, I'm not gonna go kill on him. He was working with a bad script to begin with, and to be honest with you, no matter what kid you had in there, you're not going to replace Macaulay Culkin. I may have my gripe with his acting abilities, believe me, but he made that film what it was. He made Home Alone. That is his staple film. Whether you like his other films or not, it really is irrelevant. When you think of Home Alone, you think of Macaulay Culkin. He is forever cemented as the Home Alone kid, and deservedly so. He what made that film so special. Anybody else would have played him, which I believe his name is French Stewart. For pretty much what automatically going to be looked down upon. So I'm not going to kill him. He was fine. I'm sorry, not French Stewart. My mistake. I forgot who the kid played it up. But let me see if I can find it for you guys. It doesn't say. Doesn't say at all. French Stewart, by the way, guys, is the guy who played Inspector Gadget 2. And unfortunately, Third Rock for the Sun. And Third Rock for the Sun is fine. I'm gonna be honest with you with this actor not filling his movie decision roles. I think he can do better than what he's been given so far. Didn't like Inspector Gadget 2. Not gonna review it, by the way, but just know I didn't like that film at all. This one is just, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. But the kid in general, I think he was terrible. Honestly, really, I can't really say much about it. He played a role that no one's gonna accept him as Kevin. That's just how it is. And the fact that he even tried to use the surprise shock face symbol in the fourth box cover was just like, really, this is not Kevin. Let's not kid ourselves here. In all, what I give this film, I'm giving this film a half a star. Movie wise, it definitely doesn't have a star. However, I will say this, I think it's just, if you're watching this as a typical TV film, it is a typical TV film. It's nothing special. It's nothing new. To me, I'm giving it half a star because I really wasn't laughing. I wasn't enjoying. I wasn't really Nothing there made me laugh. There were some good touching moments that I actually did like. The pacing, surprisingly, is not bad. I thought the pacing was going to be treacherous. It actually wasn't that bad. That one thing I was kind of surprised. I thought the one thing it was going to be more hurtful was the pacing, and the pacing really wasn't the problem. So I'll give points for that, but it's a very small fraction of points. So half a star for this movie. It is definitely the worst of the worst, and that's largely because of the timeline, because of the fact is they basically was lazy with this movie, and the fact that if they wanted to make it into a series, they need to do better than that. I don't know how they was planning to do a series of Home Alone. I really don't, but that was the plan, and it failed. It failed miserably, and they got themselves to blame because they really dropped the ball. Keep in mind, if I have to choose between all of the movies that later became TV movies, this is not the worst of the pack. It's definitely there, but I still believe Revenge of the Nerds 3 slash also 4 still holds that title for being the worst piece of trash I've ever seen on television. And that's something I'm gonna leave for another day because believe me, if you don't, I don't even have to say anything. Just look at that film, and you can tell, and you probably won't last 5 minutes watching that films. These were films that came out in Fox. So if I'm gonna be honest, it is not the number one worst made-for-TV film. There are others out there, others that were actually movies at one time that came out in theaters, and then they got diluted to television. So that's my own opinion about this. So, what do you guys think about Home Alone 4? Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? Did you felt this film was a waste of time? Let me know in the comment section below. But until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, talk to you soon.